Hey you guys, welcome to Alex and Andy Live again. We're coming to you every day here from Shanghai, China during this lockdown, which has officially been going citywide at least since the 1st of April, for many people much longer. My name's Andy and my co-host, Alex.
I'm Alex. Hello.
How's your day been?
It's been better. Another tough one. I did enjoy a really great NBA game this morning. My team won again. Although I had a bad day yesterday. I found out that someone in my building tested positive, actually on my same floor. So one of my next door neighbors. Fortunately, it's not the person whose door is right next to me. Their door is over there, and I don't really know them at all. And so I haven't seen them. I took another antigen test. We were meant to go down for a PCR test yesterday, but that didn't happen because of the positive antigen test. Those two people have been taken to quarantine, and we all tested negative on our antigen tests. So I haven't been out, even though we were allowed to go downstairs up until today or last night. Yesterday, I should say. I hadn't actually gone downstairs for a few days, and so I don't feel like I'm at risk or anything like that. But it was a hit quite literally close to home when one of my literal next door neighbors tested positive. So I'm back to 0 on the countdown clock, and I'm stuck in Zuhu again. So no feet out the door. So yeah, not great news on that front.
I was going to ask, do you know, or do you have any idea, or has anyone been guessing how that neighbor might have become positive since there's a lockdown?
Right. So again, we were in the situation where we were allowed in our, we have I think we have 28 or 30 buildings in our compound, and we were allowed to go downstairs just to get some exercise, to pick up our own deliveries. Obviously not in contact with the delivery people. They would, I guess, spray it and put it down on the first floor of our building. But in our group, our building group, it was a mother and her son, and they said that they had been downstairs playing badminton or something like that. And so they might have come in contact with someone else in the building who was positive and gotten it that way. I'm not really sure. It seems a little strange, but they did their test and then PCR test, and they were positive. So they're in quarantine now. We wish the best to them. I will say it was good. It was the kind of thing where they told everyone in our group, everyone in our building, and everyone was really supportive. No one was like, "Oh, you're irresponsible," or "Oh, yeah, pariah." Everyone was really sort of just, stay safe. It's okay. You'll be fine. Good luck. Blah, blah, blah. Everyone was really positive and encouraging despite the situation. So at least that was good. I've heard a lot of different stories of people being sort of like treating people who catch the COVID like this pariah. But everyone was really supportive of them. And so that was cool.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, I brought the image up on screen of Shanghai's 3-level lockdown. So you've gone back to the red.
Back to red, yeah.
Back to the red because you've had cases recently. So my area is still green, precautionary, which means in my specific building, we haven't had cases for 14 plus days. And here it says can move around sub-districts. But as we've said many times on this broadcast, a lot of these decisions are left to the Juwei, to the neighborhood committee. It's not really a blanket biaodun, there's no
standard,
blanket
standard. Applied standard, right? Your neighborhood committee can kind of tell you can't do some of this stuff. Now, I think in most communities, you're at least allowed to go downstairs inside your community if you haven't had a case in the past 7 days. But again, I can't guarantee I cannot guarantee that's 100% the case for everyone, because again, different neighborhoods, there's so many different neighborhoods and so many different committees for those neighborhoods around the city. Obviously, it's a huge city, and so people are treating it differently based on how they feel about it, which just is what it is. So, yeah, but apparently the people, my neighbors, got it from inside our own compound, because we haven't had any point since the lockdown began for us on April 1st that we've been outside our compound. So they clearly got it from inside. So
it's all mixed up a little bit. It's a bit of a mixed bag. So who knows where it came from? There's obviously we have Tuangou, we have certain deliveries. That's a weak point, but obviously one we can't shut off. And yeah, even though my compound is in precautionary, we're not allowed out at all. So there's that. So yeah. We do have some really good news today, though, and that is that the cases are down by about 20%. I have some numbers here. Yesterday we had 1,606 new symptomatic cases, 11,956 new asymptomatic cases, which, as I said, is down about 20% from the day before. There were there were exactly 48 people who died, unfortunately. Only one of those was vaccinated. But there is good news in terms of community spread, which is that of the total 13,562 cases from yesterday, only 171 were in the community. The rest were discovered in lockdown, in isolation or quarantine, which is really good. Some more numbers really quickly before we bring in Yang Jian. In total now, Shanghai has had 535,600 COVID cases, 91%, a huge majority of which are asymptomatic. And the death toll total is 238. Still too high. There we go away. Still too high, but hopefully that's going to keep coming down. But on that note, let's bring in our colleague Yang Jian, who, as usual, has been working hard to bring us all the latest bits of news and everything like that. Yang Jian, I wondered if you could talk more about that good news we saw today, and also some more people who are being discharged as well.
Yeah. You mentioned that we do have some aspiring news from today's press briefing. And the first is city's daily infection number has been declining for 2 days. And Andy has just mentioned the decrease on Tuesday reached over 20%, which is the biggest fall since the city's pandemic was trending downwards. And more importantly, you also mentioned the number of community infections has further declined also by some 20% to less than 200, and which is also the first time in the city. And according to the official number today, over 51 million PCR tests have been conducted in the last 5 days across local communities. So among them, only 171 tested positive. So that is a really good news today. And also a record of over 30,000 COVID-19 patients were discharged from local designated and makeshift hospitals on Tuesday after recovering. And one of the city's major makeshift hospitals just announced that there are vacant beds waiting for the new positive cases now. And it means any new infection in the city can be put under central quarantine more swiftly, which is key to the city's current COVID strategy, to screen and quarantine faster than the spread of the Omicron. And you also mentioned the death toll also declined a bit to 48, and most of them above 80 years old with severe underlying diseases and without vaccination. So the city officials said today that a staged progress has been achieved in the city. I know it might sound familiar because another official used the same words about a month ago. But this time, I think after experiencing these ups and downs, the city has truly made some progress. And however, the official also noted that the current situation is just like the hardest period during the mountain climbing. So we will either keep rushing to the top of the mountain to achieve the zero community transmission, or for like a landslide. So the screen will continue in the city, and the official announced that another round of PCR plus antigen screening are being conducted across the city through Saturday. And after that, the city's located, controlled, and precautionary areas will be redesignated, and according to the results. And based on the recent trend, I think the locked down areas will become smaller, and there will be surely more precautionary areas in the city, Andy.
So speaking of which, the sort of zero community spread areas, I know there have been a few districts in the last few days who've announced that they've gotten there. We talked about Jinshan, Chongming, and Songjiang, which are three of the outer parts of the city, right? And so, so some of those districts have said they're going to allow their residents to move around those areas since they've gotten to zero, and that once more areas get to zero, they'll allow the same. Can you give us some details about what that means?
Yes. the deputy director of the city's health commission said a limited number of residents will be allowed to conduct limited activities and in restricted areas in this district, like you mentioned, that initially achieved a zero community transmission. He mentioned many limits, but it has been a key breakthrough since the cities faced the lockdown in late March. And previously, only people in the precautionary areas are allowed to move around within their sub-districts or towns. And today, the coverage of the free zone has been expanded to the unit of district for the first time. And they give no details about the new policy, and maybe limited people should be those within the precautionary areas, and the limited areas might still mean within their sub-districts or towns. But I think it is still the biggest open up measure amid the city's COVID prevention and control. And among the local districts, you mentioned Jingshan and Chongming have officially announced to achieve the zero community spread a week ago. And some other districts, such as Songjiang, also reported zero community case for like 1 or 2 days, but has not yet be officially listed. So only 2 districts now on the official list. And I like to share that that yesterday no community case was reported at 6 local districts, including Huangpu, Yangpu, Jiading, Qingpu, Fengxian, and Chongming. And another 7 local districts reported less than 10 infections, which were found during the community screening. So actually, we mentioned before that Shanghai in total reported 171 community cases on Tuesday. So surely more districts will join the official list of zero community transmission. Alex.
Yang Jian from Shanghai Daily, thank you so much for the update today. We will see you again this time tomorrow.
See you.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Thanks.
Okay, again, lots of numbers, lots of information there. I note he said that there were no community cases found yesterday in 6 districts. Unfortunately, that didn't include mine, and I guess not yours either in Putuo there, Alex.
No. So I did hear my neighbors did mention that they had no symptoms, and so they're asymptomatic, but they did test positive. So they'll be counted in the 11,956 number, not in the 1606 number there. But yeah, it's good to see that some of the sort of suburban and sort of districts on the outskirts of the city are really getting down there in numbers. That's encouraging. Obviously, here in the city center, it's much more dense in terms of population, and so it might be these might be the last sort of districts that are able to sort of open up more. But we'll see what happens. Again, a lot of strange developments in the spread during the last month. A lot of sort of ping-ponging, yo-yoing of numbers here and there, based on factors. And here you can see that right there on this graph here. But I guess it's just stay optimistic if we can, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, for sure. Here's that graph. Someone commented before that they like to see graphs. A lot of people are visual people. So here it is. Shanghai Daily has actually changed the graph slightly over the past few days. Now we see kind of a better representation of symptomatic and asymptomatic cases, how they're trending separately, which I think is helpful. So you can see here around I would say the 12th, 11th or 12th of April, the symptomatic cases started to go up. And at the same time, apart from this little anomaly, the asymptomatic cases started to come down. But now they're both on a downward trend, more so asymptomatic, which is usual, I think, because asymptomatic are the vast number. So good to see there. And we have, this is a graph now for infections of screening of high-risk people. So I think these people include close contacts and things like that. So that is interesting to see as well, although I'm not too sure of the significance of this graph, Alex.
So this graph here is talking about infections found in screening of high-risk people. This means not people that were just out and about in their communities or wherever, but people that had already been determined to be close contacts. And so we want to see, we want to see all the numbers go down, but it's best if these numbers are higher than the opposite number, which is people that are found that haven't been determined to be a close contact, because obviously that means that the spread in the wild, so to speak, you know what I mean, is more curbed.
Exactly. So yeah, that is on shine.cn. If you want to head along, as I like to say, head to our official website. It's the Shanghai Daily website. The name is shine.cn. Hopefully we'll be changing the name back. Bosses, if you're watching, let's change the name back to Shanghai Daily. I don't like the name Shine. But anyway, you can go there for a lot of information, which is here, updated all the time, which is really useful. Including here, I see US Vice President Kamala Harris tested positive for COVID. Sad news. I hope she recovers ASAP. She is vaccinated, of course. I think she'll be fine. Yeah. But also we see a good story here about the sharp decline in daily infections here in Shanghai. So a lot of stuff you can check out there. So do head along. Alex, I was going to play a video. Speaking of things getting back to normal, we've talked before on this show about some factories and different companies that are resuming work. There's a company called Air Liquide, which is responding to the medical oxygen needs during this pandemic here in Shanghai. So let's check out the video on that and then come back and have a chat.
Drilling the past 2 years, meaning testing how fast could we react. So we simulated some cases to see how fast can we react to close the office, make sure everybody brings home their laptop, their tokens, anything needed to operate. Is also something that helped us react beginning of March when we started to see some numbers going up. I'm very happy to thank all the authorities that help us get special permits so that our trucks could reach the sensitive industries, the people making food, the people in hospitals, water treatment, all those essential products to keep the life and the economy running around Shanghai.
Eyes. So there we go. That is a company, obviously, as you just saw, working on medical oxygen, which is, of course, very important, especially in battle against COVID. Not so much as it was with how COVID was 2 years ago, where it was more in the lungs, but still, obviously, important, Alex.
Yeah. Of course, we think about there are a lot of people who have supplies they really need, and they need those supplies as they can. I mean, things all the time. From lockdown doesn't mean that these problems aren't. These medical issues we have are not existent. We talked about a few weeks ago. We talked about data access to people that have disease. You need medical. So, a lot of issues that the bigger ones. So it's things like this.
Alex, can you still hear? I think it's still laggy, Alex. You might want to refresh again.
Okay. Now, I think I need to move again. No, I was just saying, do you hear it?
I think I can't hear. Maybe you should try and maybe reset your internet connection and we'll see how it works. Okay, sorry you guys. Alex is having a bit of a problem with his connection, so we'll let it reset and then come back in. I do have some comments here to read really quickly. Montana says, I prefer 3D animated graphics. That might be a bit of a hard to do with our time turnaround, but yeah, that sounds pretty good if we had the budget. Charlie Joel says, I dream of going back to China, but flight price is through the roof. Definitely traveling at the moment, especially to China, is quite expensive. So yeah, good luck with coming back. Travel with Gene in China says the asymptomatic cases show how good our vaccines are working in the real world compared to phase 1 through 3 trials. Interesting point there. Now a question from Chu Guoliang, who says, I saw in the South Morning Post, I think he means the South China Morning Post, that barricades were erected to stop people from leaving their homes. Is that true? That is true. We have seen a lot of reports and video of that happening, and actually some gates were put up today in my Shaochu, in my community. There is a lot of backlash from the public about that, obviously. I see Alex is back. Maybe he has something to say. Alex, can you hear?
I can, although it's still pretty choppy. I don't know what's been going on. Maybe, I don't know. Something's up with the internet. But anyway, hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, I have seen some barricades going up. Most of the barricades that I've seen weren't actually to stop people from leaving their homes, but I have seen a few. A lot of, honestly, in my experience, can you hear me? Yes, the barricades that I've seen are more. It's sort of strange to me because they seem to me like they're kind of like suggestions. Most of the barricades I've seen could easily be toppled, pushed over, or otherwise moved out of the way by a person. And so I guess for me, though, a lot of the barricades are just kind of like suggestions, although I suppose there are barricades that actually keep people in. The problem is, in my opinion, is that that's a fire hazard, right? You can't lock someone in the building. And then if there's a fire, then what happens, right? You can't lock the people in the building, right? I understand like putting a barricade there, but it's got to be a barricade that people can move out of the way in case of emergency, right? The barricade is there to say, hey, you're strictly prohibited from leaving the building, but it also needs to be movable and not locked into place or welded there, because if there's a fire, then they need to be able to get out in an emergency. So that's sort of my point of view on that.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And I have, I want to mention you said about suggestions. I think it's also quite a cultural thing here in China, which is quite different from the West, I've noticed. In China, people are more respectful of these suggestions. For example, if you don't want someone to walk on the grass, all you need to do is put up two tiny little flags, a little piece of string, and people will know don't walk on the grass. No one will walk on the grass. Whereas in New Zealand, where I'm from, if you put a piece of string up or some cones, people will just push them another way and go anyway and reject those suggestions. So I think what you're saying is true. It should just be suggestions that people can move out of the way, especially in the case of a fire or something like that, which is quite dangerous. But I also want to add that in my Shaochu this morning, they started putting up some fences at the bottom of stairwells, and they got partway through erecting them, and the neighbours started yelling at them and telling them to stop. So there is pushback in the community. They actually stopped installing the fences, and there was a big battle online with our Duwei. So yeah, you have seen correctly, there are people putting up fences. People are not happy with it. People are expressing that. I'm not sure why they're putting them up. Obviously, they think it has something to do with rising cases. But like Alex said, I think it could get tricky, especially in terms of a fire. So yeah.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to make it unsafe, right? I mean, I think, like I say, I've seen a lot of pictures to where it was like maybe some sort of like a single fence or a small fence. It seemed to me like it was put there just sort of to say, hey, don't go out. But then if you really have to, you can do it. So.
Exactly, yeah. Hey, someone's just asked me, they said, Andy, switch to mobile data. So I'm just going to quickly switch.
I don't think either one of us have a great connection right now. Perhaps I should do the same thing.
Are you there? Alex, can you hear me?
Maybe I need to switch to mobile data as well.
I've just switched, so let's see. Since I'm controlling it here, it might be okay.
All right. Okay.
Let's see. Okay, sorry, you guys. Yeah, I've just switched to mobile data. Mark Kerr said, Andy sounds choppy now. So yeah, and then Lao Tua said, switch to mobile data, please. So yeah, let's see how this goes, you guys. Do let us know in the comments. And also, if you're watching on the Shanghai Daily WeChat group as well, do let us know. And I've just had a look. Someone, Serenity, said the network is not good in there. So, and other people say, how ka. Of course, ka means choppy. So I hope it's fixed now. Let me know. Someone said, oh yeah, you guys said way better. So that's good. Awesome. Fixed. Now I was going to move to another quick video, and then after that, we're here because Alex is not going to take part in this, but everyone has been asking us on YouTube to do some singing for the past few days. So now my arm has been stretched behind my back. I cannot sing. Alex has said he's not going to take part, but I'm going to sing a really simple Chinese song for you guys shortly, and I'm going to kind of turn it into a little Mandarin Chinese class as well, because it was one of the first songs I learnt when I was starting to learn Mandarin. So that's coming up shortly. I see people are already laughing at me. Charlie Joel has said, Alex, will you sing a song? Alex, will you sing?
You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that, man. I don't have a voice for that. I don't have the voice for that.
Gosh, okay. Yeah, do some KTV. Kevin, we are going to do that very shortly. And I hope you guys will sing along with me, even though I won't be able to hear it here. But we're going to play our last video today, which is also quite a serious one. It is to do with hemodialysis, emergency hemodialysis, which is a lifeline to patients, obviously, who are suffering from severe symptoms from COVID-19. So let's quickly check out that video. And when we come back, we'll discuss this, although I don't know much about hemodialysis. Maybe we'll learn something now. Let's have a look. Where is it? There we go. This sound is a bit weird, but it's not broken, you guys.
有相当一部分的血透患者呢是住在封控区的，这样的话呢，他就成为了密接、次密接和高筛人员。那么这样的话，他们到常规血透室来透析呢就不合适了。当时不透析呢又有生命危险，72小时就把这个应急血透室给建立起来了。这样呢，这部分患者就有一个可靠的这个透析的场所。
Oh, that's the video. That's the video. Alex, did you learn anything about hemodialysis there?
Well, I mean, from what I know about it, obviously it's talking about blood transfusions and things. Or blood filtering, things like that. Anyway, yeah, some people who have serious conditions, serious diseases need this treatment, and they need it on a regular basis. And obviously this is something that you can't go without, right? And so, well, really sort of my synopsis of the situation is that, since China is pursuing zero COVID policy, and we have strict lockdowns, there are a lot of things that under other kinds of lockdowns, people can go do, right? I know that in my home country and in a lot of countries, the lockdown was, the businesses were closed, the restaurants were closed, nothing was really open, but you could go out to the supermarket, or you could go out to do things like get your hemodialysis and stuff like that. And so, but because of the strict policy here in China, we're seeing some different issues in the pursuit of zero COVID. Obviously, zero COVID is a good thing, but it's also causing a lot of issues like for things like this, right? I know that in some places people could go out for this. And so the response to that is setting up temporary facilities to take care of stuff like this. And we can see they're doing that, which is good because these things are really, really important. When you can't leave your building or you can't leave your apartment, your compound, then you're not able to go out to a clinic or a doctor's office or a hospital to get things like this done. And so it's important that they make sure that people that since we're doing this strict lockdown policy, that people can get all the things that they need, not just food. Obviously, that need not be addressed. Need not be talked about. We all know that. But what I'm saying is there are other things that you wouldn't think about. I wouldn't think about, if you ask me what are the problems with the situation, hemodialysis wouldn't be the first thing that comes to mind for me. But someone who needs hemodialysis better believe that'd be the first thing they'd say. So, there are just a lot, because the city's a big city, 26 million just about, and there are a lot of different people who have a lot of different needs. And so meeting all those people's needs really does require a great effort.
Yeah, for sure. And it's good to see that these things are still moving. Obviously, in the beginning of the lockdown, we had a lot of problems with people accessing the required medical treatment they needed. Obviously, not just for COVID-related issues, but also everyday issues, like you said, with this hemodialysis. I think, is that to do with kidney dialysis as well? Anyway, there's all these different things that people need. And it's important. It's obviously really, really important. So it's good to see that things are catching up. Hopefully, more people can learn from this and learn from any of the mistakes that were made here in Shanghai during the beginning of this lockdown. We are now on day number 22 27, is it, Alex?
7 for us. I know that Pudong officially is on day 31, but I know people who are deep into the 40s in terms of number of days, mostly in Pudong, because that's sort of where the outbreak kind of began, or where it was first sort of serious. And so
Right.
I've got friends and colleagues in communities that have been locked down for quite a long time now. Some of them in excess of 40 days.
Oh yeah, it is scary. I think there's plenty of people that have been in lockdown for much longer. I'm trying to bring up the view of Shanghai at the moment, but that isn't working. So I just want to quickly bring up a comment from Turtle Soup 81, who says, I got a special permit to exit my compound tomorrow to the hospital. That will be the first time I can exit my compound in more than a month. So a lot of people are only being allowed out if they have medical needs. Turtle Soup, thanks for your comment. I really hope that your issue isn't too serious and everything gets sorted out tomorrow, and enjoy the breeze and your freedom. Hopefully that all works out well. Someone else added that Lao Tua said that his dad needs it 3 times per week. He's talking about dialysis. So there you go. It's very, very important, very, very important to have these medical needs able to be met even during this time. We saw a couple of weeks ago, Shanghai had strict rules where people were being turned away from hospitals, which sounds terrible, if they didn't have the right PCR COVID test results. That has been fixed. Now people can go to hospital without a 24-hour result, enter a kind of a buffer zone where they'll get a preliminary treatment while they are tested before they're let into the hospital. So that's also really good news. Precious Jules has sent another super sticker. Precious Jules, thank you so much. We will use that to get some Tuango for sure. And on that note, Alex, I think I'm going to have to do my singing now.
All right. Good luck, man. Good luck, man.
I'm going to turn you off because I know you're going to laugh at me. And
I won't. I promise I won't. But all right.
Okay, you guys, I'm going to let Alex have a break, and Alex will come back and say goodbye, I reckon, in about 5 minutes.
All right.
But yeah, have a break. We'll see you really soon. Okay, this really sucks because I know Alex is going to be taking the total mickey out of me. But what I wanted to do, you guys, because you guys have been commenting for a little while, to have some singing on the show. And I'm going to bring up this song, which is like I said before, one of the first songs I started learning when I was learning Mandarin. It's called 月亮代表我的心. It means the moon represents my heart, or my love, I guess. So I hope you guys will sing along with me. I have to warn you, I actually can't sing. So anyone who knows me, anyone who's been to KTV with me knows I absolutely cannot sing. But this is just for fun. And then after we've been through the song, which is pretty short, I'll break down some of the Chinese in here. If you're learning Mandarin, it should be fun. So yeah, let's check it out. Sing along with me, you guys.
你问我爱你有多深，我爱你有几分？我的情也真，我的爱也真，月亮代表我的心。你问我爱你有多深，我爱你有几分？我的情不移，我的爱不言，月亮代表我的心。轻轻的一个吻，已经打动我的心，深深的一段情，叫我思念无尽。你问我爱你有多深，我爱你有几分？你去想一想，你去看一看， 月亮代表我的心。
Sing along, you guys. This song's really, really easy. And even if you can't sing, it's not that bad. 对， Teresa Tan. No, no, no. 不要这么客气啊。
轻轻的一个吻，已经打动我的心，深深的一段情，叫我思念到如今。你问我爱你有多深，我爱你有几分？你去想一想，你去看一看，月亮代表我的心。你去想一想，你去看一看，月亮代表我的心。
So there you go, you guys. You guys asked for it, and you've received the punishment, which is my singing. Thank you for all the nice comments, you guys, that came in. I don't know, you guys. Yeah, but if you want to learn some Mandarin Chinese, this is a really good song to start with, because it's really, really simple. So I thought I would go through some of the lyrics with you guys. I don't know what your level of Chinese proficiency is, but let's go. So the first line is 你问我爱你有多深？你问我, you ask me, 爱你, my love for you, or I love you, 有多深, how deep. So basically this line means how deep is your love for me? 你问我爱你有多深? And then the next line she says 我爱你有几分? It's basically the same thing. How much do I love you? 几分? It's like, what's the percentage, you know? 10 out of 10, 5 out of 10, you know what I mean? 我爱你有几分? 我爱你有几分? And then she says, this is interesting, because a lot of the songs with the lyrics, they will say 我的. When she sings it, she says 我的情也真. But actually, that's just for singing. For some reason, they think it sounds better. But in real life, we will say 我的情也真. Like my feeling, my love for you is real. Mainly my feeling. 我的情也真. 我的爱也真. My love is real. And then she says the name of the song, which is 月亮, which is the moon. 月亮代表means represents 我的心. The moon represents my heart, or I guess you could look at it as like the moon represents my feeling, my love for you. Andy's Chinese way better than mine. 没有. So yeah, that is the main part of the song. I'll go through a bit more really quickly. She says it again. Here she goes. Here she says, sorry, you guys. Here we go. She says, 我的 or 我的情不移. It means my feeling for you is steadfast. 不移, it's like unmoving. And then she says, 我的爱不变. My love doesn't change. 我的爱 is love. 不变. 我的爱不变. 月亮代表我的心. The moon represents my love. And then, should I go on? Let's see the comments. Do you guys want to hear some more? Or should we move along and get Alex back? If you want to hear some more, I can read some more, leave some comments. Somebody said, wow, Andy can teach Mandarin in the future. Maybe not. This is very simple. This part, she says, 轻轻的一个吻, a soft kiss. 轻轻的 often these words, I think it's an adjective, 轻 soft. We repeat it in Mandarin. So 轻轻的一个吻 one 一个 one kiss, a soft kiss. 已经打动我的心已经打动我的心 means it's just one kiss, a soft kiss moved my heart. 打动 like made my heart. Maybe you could look at it as like made my heart beat faster or whatever. Yeah, I think someone said pity that music. Somebody said this is probably the best live ever. Okay, you guys, you got to watch more live streams. I'll read some more of the lyrics. 深深的一段情 I guess this means a deep 一段情一段时间一段 normally means like time. So a deep time, maybe I got that wrong. 叫我思念到如今 I guess that means taught me to long for this day or long until this day. Yeah, and so on. Anyway, that is soft or gentle, yeah. Charlie Joe's soft or gentle, it could be gentle. 轻轻的一个吻 could be gentle. And Zhu Liang says many Chinese living overseas don't know Chinese. It's true. A lot of Chinese diaspora don't know Chinese, which is, I reckon, really sad. And then she says, 你去想一想，你去想一想 you go, think. 你去想一想 go and think about it, go and ponder it. 你去看一看，你去看一看 go and look. Because, and then back to the title of the song, 月亮代表我的心. The moon represents my heart. So I guess she's saying, take a look. The moon represents my heart. This is how much I love you. Go and think about it. And come back to me when you realize, or something like that. Well, on that note, it cut me off. So it was really time to finish up with the Chinese class. Alex, are you there?
Yeah, it was great. So you sing way better than I do. And I think our Chinese, I think both of us have probably our Chinese is on a pretty similar level. So yeah,
absolutely not. Alex is being very, what's the word? Modest there. No, that's absolutely not true at all. But yeah, anyway, next time you can bring us through one of your songs. Now, I want to, I'm trying to bring up the there it is. There's the view. Awesome. On that note, Alex, do you have anything else you want to say before we let everyone go?
Not really for today. Good show today. Well done, Andy. Sorry I didn't join you for that, but the city march is on here. It's good to see numbers are down. Let's hold steady here. Let's just stay sane. It's just, and like I say, I'm back to square one, which is disappointing, but
yeah,
you know
really
I'll just tell you, it seems I will say for my community, they've been pretty good about helping us get all the things that we need and make sure that we're not wanting for stuff. And so hopefully that will continue, and hopefully that's the case for everybody else. And hopefully we'll get some more good news tomorrow. Stay tuned for the happenings in 23 hours, and we'll be back tomorrow evening.
Let's see. Hopefully the numbers will keep going down. I know I'm not going to get too excited because we did have a patch in the past recently where the numbers were going quite steadily down and then they shot up. So that wasn't fun. So I'm not getting my hopes up. And like Yang Jian told us yesterday, it's still too early to get too excited. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, on that note, you guys, we will be back again tomorrow. Thank you guys for everyone. Oh wait, first I got to read this, Alex, because somebody said in the WeChat group, Alex, you can't escape. If you don't want to sing, then you need to dance to the song.
Oh my gosh. Which one is worse?
Something tells me you're not going to do that either. But yeah, good to see you, Alex. Good to see you, everyone else. And we will catch up again this time tomorrow. Well, 7:30 tomorrow, Beijing time. And yeah, see you guys then.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.